in the glory of his moving and the foreshadowing of the glorious things to follow. Which is going to lead me up to Matthew 17. I skipped this part. But we went right to Matthew 17. I got in a hurry. Well, I'm going to bring it all full all the way around. I'm going to bring it all the way to the bleeding, hopefully. Compelling us to stand and see his salvation of a people that are right now positioned in the glory of his moving and the foreshadowing of the glorious thing to follow as we stand in the truth of that they that know their God should be strong and carry out great exploits. So the more you know concerning your faith, the greater the manifestation of works.
Amen.
I know that's I know it's, you know, yeah. Regardless of what place man may occupy in God's creation, the essence of life in understanding, focus, and fulfillment is always to be the representation of Christ. So it's not just us assimilating thoughts and tossing around terms, being top-heavy. All the information that we receive that later become revelation ultimately needs to become manifestation.
Yes.
It's for us to represent or become representatives or representations of Christ.
Yes.
The very embodiment of all the study, the teaching, and the training that we've set underneath.
Amen.
Y'all don't believe that.
Yeah.
Man, the guy said on Sunday, he said, man, Joliet is religious.
Yep.
I believe Joliet is a lot better than it was when we started. But yet we still got the stigma and the stain of just taking things at our own pace. Yeah, we got this one pace, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? But God He wants to escalate our pace. He wants to expedite our training. Because see, I've read foolish scriptures now. And I know when I say foolish, because to the carnal mind, to the natural mind, it's foolish. For the plowman to overtake the reaper. To receive the rain in the first month, the latter and the former rain in the first month. While you yet praying, he's answering. Those are New Testament stuff. That's not Old Testament. Those are Old Testament promises. But those are New Testament realities.
Yes. Yes.
The suddenlies that come out of scriptures.
Yes.
That's our right to expect the things that we're being taught and the instructions that are being released to us to eventually filter out through our life.
Yes.
And not just lies somewhere in our head, in our psyche, enslaved. And then I told you before, all it creates is the people of voyeurism. And we give credence to knowing. That's not, see, in the Grecian mind, in the Greek mind, in the Western culture, knowing is great. But in the Hebraic mind, the Orthodox way, that's the discipleship. That's when you put your hands to the plow. That's when you're about your father's business. Now, yeah, there's a time you said, "Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself." That's one part of the word "take it." Let me just finish this out, and I'm gonna get to take it. Somebody hold that spot. So there's an intimacy. Through such intimacy, mankind manifests the image of God and established the revelation of Christ in the earth. Our recreation or recreation, our new birth, our restoration, our being renewed and becoming a whole man is not an event in the past or the future. It is in the present. We have one function in life, and I told you this before, to be the manifestos of his life in this age.
Yes.
That's it. When he was wanting to see something in John 12, it said, I want to see Jesus. Those are Greek boys, Grecian boys, boys that was more intellectually inclined. They wanted to see it. They wanted to touch it and handle it. Jesus said, you know what, rascals? You're not going to even be able to discern me in my present state. Not until I fall on the ground and die. Not until I shed this tabernacle. You're going to notice there's going to be a multiplication of the seed that you now talk with. The only way we're going to confound the wisdom of this world? Because that's what they symbolize, is the manifestation of the many-member body.
Yes. Yes.
We don't have enough manifestation, so the conviction is low.
That's right. That's right.
So you can talk scriptures, you can talk about this, we can speak revival, and many of us are on that bandwagon. We can talk about this is the season of revival, and many folks are looking for this and looking for that cart and this bandwagon and this train and this cloud and this smoke and this fire. And God is longing for the manifestation of the seed he sown at Calvary.
Yes.
Amen?
Yes.
And guess what? Go to Matthew 17. Guess what? I've been embroidered in my heart. I'm sorry. There's a divine design in my loins, in my heart. And I long for it too.
Amen.
Not only do I long to see it in your life, I long to see it in my life.
Yes.
I want the unadulterated pure version. I told the Holy Spirit, don't give me the knockoff, don't give me a marked down blue light cell. I want it in its pristine, authentic form.
Amen.
In total chastity. Because that's what that word means. I want it to be sound. Because that's where the power will come. We were looking for the power. We said, I can't wait. You know, the power is getting ready. The power surge getting ready to hit the church, and the church is getting ready to do some great things, and there's going to be some powers that's going to be shaken, and like I'm doing on Sunday, talking about the prison houses and those that stared in holes, and talking about how we need to be after Christ and not at the philosophy and all these things that are tossed around loosely. Because we have itching ears. But there's the people that's being sober. They're being sober. They're awakening and finding out, you know what? This is not enough.
Yes.
I need to be more intimate with the very thing that I profess. Just like in the story of Matthew 17 and 1. In fact, if I want to be historically correct, let me just bring it all together for those that are watching. Matthew 16, go up one, a couple verses for our theologians that's watching. Verse 27, 16, chapter 16, verse 27. For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Next verse. Verily, verily, I say unto you, there shall be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. That's powerful, don't it? I don't know how we projected it all the way to our time. To me, that there's going to be a people. Am I right? Come on now. Folks that read this all day and tell you, see, it's going to come a time we're going to be here to see the Son of Man come through the clouds. No, he was talking to that audience.
Yes.
He said,
Yes.
he said some standing here, not some standing now.
Right.
He said some that are present right here at the base of the mountain. Those that are standing at this moment, this is proof texting. This is what they call proof texting. Saying, which should not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Then he says to himself, I got three bad honchos. I'm going to just give them an earnest of what I'm talking about. So then that's why you got next verse, 17 and 1, and after. So after that conversation about the Son of Man coming in the clouds and them seeing the manifestation of his glory, which actually took place in 70 AD. It's not something in our futures, in our past. So then after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John, and his brother. We know after 6 days is normally what? 7 days. Right? Am I right? 5 and not be after 6, right? I know it's written in Hebrew language that they go from right to left, but we ain't going to do that, right? We're not going to go 6, 5. We're going. All right? So after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringing them up into a high mountain apart. I double dog dare you to go take those two words, high mountain, and run them from Genesis to Revelation. You're going to get a message out of it. Every time God's going to do anything transformative, he always takes him to a high mountain. Amen? Okay. So the word take is that he taketh Peter, James, and John. And we know that Peter stands for faith. And James stands for what? Hope. And John stands for Love, faith, hope, and love. We can talk about that too, all of it. But anyway, but the word I want to look at is taketh. He taketh them. Because I believe this is an invocation for people in the 7th day. There we are.
Yeah.
Taught on this a long time ago. Amen. This is old stuff for most of us. But I never took the time to dissect the word taketh. It's paralabano. It's 3880. I didn't get a chance to send it to him. I was going to send it to him so we can put it on the screen. Because if you get it on the screen, it's got to be right. No, I'm just kidding. It's 3880 in the Greek. It means to receive something transmitted. So he was divinely positioning them to receive something in this particular act that's going to be transmitted to them. It means to receive with the mind by the narrating to others. So there was a narrating or a narrative that he was establishing in their midst. His veil was getting ready to be done away with. Am I right? He began to glisten as the sun. His body began to, what do they call it, efficaciously, just began to emanate what was already in him, his deity. Amen? So this word also says, by instruction of teachers, used of disciples, to accept or acknowledge one to be such as he professes to be, not to reject, not to withhold obedience. Ooh-wee! So when we read it in English, it just messed us up. But when you get to the root of it, the etymology of the Greek, you find out it's a transmitting or the transferring of information between a student and his rabbi. That's what it's saying. That's what God is doing. That's why teaching has increased. That's why the water level has increased. It's because we're in the moment now after 6 days where he's taking us up to a high mountain apart.
Yes.
Why? Because he's going to give us some wisdom that other generations and ages couldn't articulate, could not understand, couldn't interpret. But for you, and we treat it with contempt. We treat it